Hello and welcome to episode 6 of On Our Stage, a podcast about theater and those who create it, hosted by those who facilitate it. My name is Greg, and I'm the co-owner of the StageCrafts, and our goal is to make producing theater in Los Angeles easier for artists. The StageCrafts offers intimate, fully equipped theaters for rent, affordable production and design services, and low barrier for entry opportunities to mount artists' work through a growing slate of festivals and ongoing events. You can learn more about us at thestagecrafts.com and follow us on all major social platforms at thestagecrafts. On today's episode, I interview Ray Richmond and Jill Holden. Ray is the playwright and producer behind Another Distraction from the Epstein Files. Jill is one of the stars of this dynamic two-hander that took this year's Hollywood Fringe Festival by storm. Now the show is headed to Venice this weekend with the Los Angeles Freeway Circuit. You can check the link below for details. Here's a quick rundown of what the show is about. As the political temperature continues to rise and the national conversation grows increasingly frightening and polarized, Rebecca and Daniel struggle to find comfort in certainty, activism, and outrage. But when a discovery inside their own home is made that threatens everything they believe about themselves, their family, and the causes they champion, they are forced to confront a reality that is far more unsettling than any headline. By turns funny, provocative, and devastating, Another Distraction from the Epstein Files examines the distance between our principles and our actions, and what happens when that distance suddenly disappears. Critics lauded this show, calling it a stunning two-hander that is painfully timely, and a true call to action for everyone who is fortunate enough to see it. So without further ado, let's get the conversation started. All righty, folks. Welcome back to the On Our Stage podcast, hosted by me, Greg, the host with the most. I am here today with the creator and one of the stars of Another Distraction from the Epstein Files, Mr. Ray Richmond and Ms. Jill Holden. Welcome, both of you guys. Glad to have you.
Great to be here. Thanks for having us, Greg.
Yeah, thanks.
Truly a pleasure. Truly a pleasure. Your show was one of the toasts of the 2026 Hollywood Fringe Festival, and now we're super excited to have it be a part of the LA Freeway Circuit, at least for the first stop, where we're going to be at the Electric Lodge in Venice this weekend. You go up at 2:30.
Yes, we do.
2:30.
We're really happy to be to have a matinee because there were a lot of people who were of a certain age who were like, I'd see your show, but I can't drive at night. So now they don't have that excuse.
Absolutely.
A certain age, that would be our age, but yeah, good.
I am rapidly approaching, so I empathize and I understand. Absolutely.
Excellent. Welcome to the club.
Thank you. Yeah, AARP is sending me stuff pretty consistently these days, and I'm like, I got a minute, but they like to get them young, so yeah. Anyhow, we're not here to talk about my retirement plans. We're here to talk about your show. As I mentioned, it was one of the toasts of the 2026 Hollywood Fringe Festival. Now we've got it on the circuit. But for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, in one sentence, what would you say the play is about?
Well, let's see. I just happen to have the one sentence pitch here. We call it a sharp satirical drama about privilege, obsession, and denial, in which an older couple struggles to confront an unbearable truth unfolding in real time. And that's basically as specific as we can be without giving too much away.
Yeah, seriously. That's very, very specific, and it's very enticing. I like it because, it definitely establishes the height of the drama that you're going to reach. And I have to say that you guys were so sold out. I didn't get to see it at Fringe this year. So I'm very excited. Actually, I did not get a chance to see it. I lit it, which was cool, and I got to see the ending, so I know how it ends because I watched you guys block that. But I did not get in to see the show. I also didn't get in to see most of the shows that were happening in our venues because we had 54 of them. But I made a distinct effort to see several that I got shut out of because they were doing too well. So congratulations.
We kept going to see other plays, and there Jen would be at the other plays. Oh, you're doing this play too? Oh, this is yours too? Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, this was the most shows we'd ever had this year. And
you just had your fingers all over this festival.
Yeah. Well, that's the way we like it. We like to be as involved as we can. It's we've been passionate about Fringe because we've been doing it since it started in 2010. We started as producers, and when we got our first venue in 2017, we took everything that we learned that we didn't like about Fringe and dealing with venues and stuff like that, and kind of was like, how do we change it to make it better? And I hope that means better experiences for everybody. You guys were at Bad Ladder this year, which is one of our partner venues. They are actually taking that space, unfortunately, and they're going to be turning it into another podcasting studio for them, like very soon, from what I understand. So in the next few weeks, I think that they're planning on doing that, which is a bummer because I could have kept that thing booked all the time for them. But they want to stay true to their original purpose, I guess. But
yeah,
you guys got
podcasts.
Yeah, but you guys got to be one of only 9 shows that went up in that space, and I like to think that for a found space, I thought we came up with a pretty unique and robust venue.
No, it was great. It was great. We felt very comfortable there. Although there were a few times where people wanted to come, we're getting there a little bit late, which, late doesn't work for Hollywood Fringe. And it doesn't work for the freeway circuit either. And because if they arrived late, they would have had to actually walk across the stage to get to their seat.
Yes.
So that wasn't going to work.
Yeah. It's a little bit more forgiving. Oh, I'm sorry.
So what? I was ready with improvised lines if someone did come in. Hi, look who's come to visit through the wall. It's amazing.
I love it. Hey, man, sometimes you just got to make do and make it happen. All right. So it's you've got 4 artists listed in as part of the project. Ray, you wrote and produced it. Jill, obviously you're one half of the team behind it. Steve is your co-star and Lee is your director. Where did you guys meet? Like, how'd you start working together, man? I know, spoiler, you two are married, so that's kind of like the cheat code. Jen and I feel the same way. Yeah.
What happened was I had worked with Lee Costello, our director, back in 2017 when I did my only other Hollywood Fringe show. It was called Transition, and it was another 2-hander about the meeting 36 hours after the election between Donald Trump and Barack Obama. Right after Trump was elected for his first administration. And imagining what that meeting was like, that 90-minute meeting.
And it was a 90-minute play, so it was in real time. What did they say
to each other? Exactly, and that did really well. We had a run at the Lounge Theater on Santa Monica that no longer exists. It's now the Lounge Theater on Melrose. It worked out really well. We had like a 6-week run prior to, and then 7 performances at Fringe. And so that's how we got to know Lee. She's just, on it. She did a terrific job for the directing for that first show. So I knew that, and she actually came after me. She was working with an actress who wanted to do as a showcase, as an acting showcase. Bertolt Brecht's The Jewish Wife and The Informer, which were, written in the 1930s around Nazi Germany, and the Jewish Wife worked fine the way it was from the 30s, but they really needed to update. They felt The Informer, and so Lee came after me to update The Informer, which was basically about a Jewish couple who feels like their safety and their lives are potentially in danger. That the Nazis are going to come, and their son goes out, for a walk, and they think, "Oh God, is our son, snitching on us to the Nazis?" And it turns out he was only going out to buy chocolate. So, we wanted to update it and have that show be much more potentially sinister and have not quite necessarily the relief ending that one did.
Don't give too much away.
Right. But in any case, so that's what. So Lee recruited me to revise The Informer, and that worked out very well. And then I realized I wanted to do another. We wanted to try to do something for Fringe based on the same concept, but expand it out a little bit. Instead of 20 minutes, have it be a half an hour, and have a different lead actor, my wife.
But it was much more, this production, this iteration of the play is much sharper and much more conflict. and it's really a rewritten play. It's not what it was.
No, it had the bone. It's true. It had the bones of The Informer without really, all of the same kind of hits on it. I think both of them worked very well, but this one I think worked exceptionally well. It's darkly satirical, but also very frightening.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Please.
Absolutely.
I knew Lee for years already. I had known her for a long time. I think I introduced you to Lee in the beginning.
Correct.
She used to run the Second City training program, and she did some other things. And I was a lighting designer. I lit some shows stuff for her. So I've known her a long time. We have a lot of friends together. And then Steve was someone she found, but it turned out I had worked with him at Actors Theater of Louisville.
Steve Hofvendahl,
co-star, the guy who plays my husband. So we knew him by two different places, and we thought he'd be really good. But Lee's the one who did the outreach to him. Isn't that right?
That's fantastic. Yeah, and he's got quite the resume. Extensive theater credits, extensive TV and movie credits. We were
really lucky to get him.
Absolutely. Really well, I feel like across the board, you have you've got a real murderer's row of all stars here, just in terms of talent.
Really, we are the 27 Yankees of local stage.
I love it. That's fantastic.
It worked out really well. Of course, we were fearful of, oh God, we're among all these young, energetic people at the Hollywood Fringe, and we're everywhere we went to, whatever gatherings. When we went to office hours and everything else, we're the oldest people there. And it's like, oh my God, who do we think we are trying to compete with this? But it worked out really well. I think we were a good contrast to a lot of the other energy there.
Absolutely.
It was wonderful to be with all those young people who were so enthusiastic about theater. It reminded me of being, 30 again. They were great. Fringe is a really great place to get inspired and meet lots of people like that.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, I love Fringe because for years I would find new plays that would go on Theater Unleashed season. We would find new company members, new directors, new collaborators. Like it's such a great way to get connected with the community and just see what grows from it. It's like summer camp, but you get to keep in touch with everybody a lot more easily after the fact.
Yes,
so.
I think we made some friends we'll keep.
Absolutely, including one who is the writer and director of our favorite play at Fringe. And I'll leave it there, and maybe we can come back to that later.
Oh, we will. I think we will. I definitely have to find out who that is. So, yeah. So another distraction from the Epstein files. Speaking of the plays, the title does a lot of work before anybody's even sat down. It's half joke, it feels kind of tongue in cheek, but also half warning. Where did that come from, and how early did you know that was going to be the title?
Well, I was racking my brain trying to come up with some kind of pun about the current moment, and and it just nothing quite worked. And we're so into the resistance and so much into bashing and being fearful of the current administration. I just thought, everything these days seems to be a distraction from talking about the Epstein files. So I thought, why don't we just call it that? Here, this is, even though some people actually said, well, your show didn't have anything to do with the Epstein files. And it's like, well, yes, see, the title is, this is just another distraction from the Epstein files. Because literally, if you look at it literally, everything is a distraction. So pretty early on, I threw it out as a possibility to Jill. And she would like, yes, that's it.
On a list of like 15. What do you think of this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What do you think of well, and when we said this one, it was like, that's the one. We were sure.
Right. It just kind of named, basically, once it was out there, it named itself. And it's like, and it basically it says we're shamelessly pandering to get attention, essentially is what it is.
But, it says what, in the larger sense, what it's about. It isn't a complete red herring. It is about, distraction of the Epstein files in the larger sense. In a larger sense. So it gives you an idea that it is a political play, but anyway.
It gives you an idea of what it is that you're walking into. Yeah. it does a good job of giving you an idea of what you're about to walk into.
You're not going to have a musical about, kids at camp.
But it really is also, in the larger sense, about the relationship of a couple and watching how their relationship evolves over the course of a half an hour.
Yeah. And also I think it really has a lot to do with the impact of this moment on the lives of individuals and relationships. I mean, I know that much from my experience, watching the rehearsals and things like that, even though I haven't gotten to see the whole thing. I think I've missed the big twist, and I'm very excited to get to experience that this weekend. So really, really stoked for that. Now, Ray, this is not intimidating at all for me to ask, but you have spent decades interviewing people in entertainment and covering the news cycle from the outside. First off, how am I doing?
Oh, you know what? You are absolutely in the top 5% of interviewers I've ever had asking me questions.
You are.
Thank you.
Hey, I can just ask as well as anyone.
You are so suck up. Pretty
Come on,
good, Ray.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I sincerely appreciate that.
This man holds our future in his hands. Our Saturday is all about him.
Dig it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I am the supreme dictator in that theater here. It's not even my theater, guys. That's the funny part.
It's your theater that day.
Yeah, for that day it is. It's true. So what made you want to dramatize this material instead of taking a more journalistic approach towards it and writing?
Well, the truth is I'm kind of doing both, Greg.
Okay.
I actually have not this specific thing, but the way Jill resists the current administration is through protest and writing postcards and going to protest marches and such. And mine is through journalism. I'm writing for a very anti-Trump, very progressive website. I write columns every week for a website called Raw Story. On the
Raw Story. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have things in Raw Story every week, and which is really kind of a cathartic thing for me. But in terms of this material, I normally am very much into nonfiction, but I felt like I could put a lot of real nonfiction into a fictitious context in this show, and actually have it feel like what's going on in the current moment in a profound way. And all I knew was all of the things that are going on in the conversations I'm having in my very house are what I essentially incorporated into this show, which is why it was so weird for Jill, as she alluded to earlier, to have another actress and having my words come out of her mouth or out of the other actress's mouth rather than Jill's, because basically I would be taking notes during our morning coffee, and that's what would come into the show. And that's where, it felt very cathartic to be able to have the words that we had been spouting literally for weeks before, to have audiences embracing them and feeling them.
Absolutely. There is something incredibly validating about that. I can understand that.
I didn't even know he was listening.
On the points that you disagree, did you find that the audience sided one or the other inadvertently? Was that like a?
You know what? I thought that would be more. I thought I'd see that more about the audience. You mean the audience siding with different characters?
Well, I mean, just in terms of like the arguments or the discussions that you guys have had. Were there any arguments that got presented in and almost tried in the court of public opinion through the show? And did you find that the audience took one side or the other?
I would just say this. We saw a lot of couples that said, "Oh my God, that's just like us. That's exactly the conversation I have with my wife." And usually in our circle, the husband is more reticent and the wife is more out there. And and that they have these discussions and they have these disagreements about how to join the resistance. Wouldn't you say?
Yes. And
so we did get a lot of that, like, oh my God. So
that's cool.
I didn't hear any real political I don't know. I'm not sure, but I did see a lot of that. A lot of our friends.
People really got taken in by it. And I feel, The truth is, these are extremes. Our characters are extremes. Jill is not as would you say, devoted?
Well, everything that my character does in the play, I have done, but I haven't done them all in one day because I would be insane.
It's like,
so
yeah.
So I think it's true.
It's a heightened
but
version.
It's heightened, and so the characters are more extreme examples of what they are. And the character of my husband doesn't do anything, talks but doesn't do anything. Ray does stuff. He goes to protests, and you have your columns. It's not. It's much more like this rather than like this. You know what I mean? In terms of how far apart we are.
So,
but that's drama. You got to have
the imbalance, the higher the dramatic arc. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the greater conflict.
Jill is not as over the top in as Rebecca, our character, and I'm not as lackadaisical as Daniel, our husband.
Yeah.
But even though I'm sorry to interrupt, even though it's a two-hander, it's like there are a couple of other characters who are never seen. They're all off screen.
Well, we talk about them a lot.
Yeah, we talk about them a lot. There's
we did get people who said you need a second act because we want to meet those two guys, the other characters that we talk about a lot.
Okay.
So, Ray, we're
That's
trying to get Ray to write another act.
So I told Jill we're just going to vamp and ad lib for a half an hour for the second act on Saturday.
Love it.
I hope you're okay with that.
You're okay with that, right?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's do it. I'm down. Yeah. So jumping ahead a little bit in my list of questions here, but I feel like this is kind of a natural segue. Rebecca and Daniel, they are the two characters in this show. They are drawn as opposites, like we talked about. She's the activist. He's the more passive, like let's just see how it goes type. I feel actually, come to think of it, I feel like you've already kind of answered this a little bit, but why split the couple that way instead of making them more ideologically aligned?
Well, drama, man. You got to have drama. Yeah. And we wanted the relationship to go somewhere. It wasn't just about the events, which we don't have to get into, but about how this relationship can change and what breaks a relationship and what can you tolerate in the other person and what you can't you tolerate. Like if the husband was a Trump supporter, they would have gotten divorced, that they couldn't stay together. I can't imagine that being a way that a couple could stay together, though I guess people do, but that would be too extreme. So, so we needed enough conflict to make the thing theatrical. Don't you think?
Okay. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And, I think that this is some pretty high praise here, but some of the reviews, the play got compared to Clifford Odets and the group theater style of, kitchen drama. Did you refer to Odets at all during the development as a reference point, or was that something that just kind of emerged, and it just happened to parallel when you were in the room?
Certainly, it's not an intensely theatrical piece. We don't have visual theatrics, and so it's very moment to moment, and we're just talking and listening in the way that, and we tried to make it as realistic as possible because we wanted it to, and I don't want to speak to, but we wanted it to be what things that are actually happening in people's kitchen until the plot thickens. But in general, what's actually happening in people's living room so people can relate. So I love that someone compared it to Clifford Odets. I think it was Ernest Kearney. And I was just so yes, Clifford Odets, that's fantastic. But, it could be who else was I thinking of? That kitchen sink kind of drama. Patty Chayefsky. I was thinking Patty Chayefsky, with those TV, the wonderful moment to moment, things I saw when I was a kid.
Marty.
Yes. Real drama that could actually be real people.
Nice.
But we actually, again, not to give too much away, but
Don't give too much away.
We're able to really see it's very, compact. But we actually see a couple's relationship evolve and to some degree unravel in the course of
real time.
In the course of 30 minutes.
That's what we're trying to do anyway.
Yeah.
If it works.
Yeah. Well, by all accounts, you guys succeeded in some. Yeah.
What?
By all accounts, you guys succeeded.
I hope so.
Well, in order, because it's all about our art. In order to give this even greater relevance, we're getting divorced in real life.
No, we're not. Shut up. What if we were? Wouldn't you be shocked?
I mean, breaking news, so.
We announced it here first.
And
Yeah,
then
you heard it
we
here
married
first,
the
guys.
following day. But
Yeah, there you go. Just a quick trip to Vegas. Get it done both drive-through style. It's structured as a two-hander in a single domestic space. What did that constraint force you to solve that a bigger cast wouldn't have?
In half an hour, you have too many people. You can't follow one through line.
Yeah.
But also, rehearsal schedules,
Mm-hmm.
it's much easier to work with one other person. And sometimes Lee couldn't be there, but Steve and I got together. Not often. Lee was there a lot. It's really her show. But so that was one thing that's really good with the two-hander. It's not as, a solo show, but a solo show is, I'm glad there's another actor. I've done solo shows and it's like all about, I like a two-hander better, something to work off of, some real surprises and stuff. The Informer, Brecht's Informer is a two-hander, right?
Mm-hmm. It is a two-hander.
Okay. So the original
with a tiny third hand.
Yeah, there was she does come in, doesn't she? The sun comes in at the very
for one line.
Yeah, but it's basically a two-hander. So that thing was there from the beginning when you read that piece. But it creates an intimacy and it lets you follow just their relationship that I think with a lot of other people in half an hour, it's.
And so it was also mostly logistical. I mean, it just worked out with two, because we had 6 weeks from the time we signed up for Fringe to having everybody get the script down and get ready to have 3 performances.
And Ray was doing a lot of rewriting. I mean, we were doing dramaturgy for the entire rehearsal. Lee was giving notes. This is something that we would be at rehearsal in our living room. We were rehearsing, and Lee would say, "I don't know, this section that needs a little bit of this, and you need to do a little thing. What are you going to do?" And Ray would say, "Wait a minute," and he'd go in his room, and we'd sit in the living room for like 5 minutes, and he'd come back with a new page, and it was better. It was like way better. He's incredible.
Well, when you have a gun to your head, that's what journalism taught me too, Greg, is, deadline, I can't take a piss without a deadline. So I
understand.
If I have a deadline, I'm motivated to do it. And that automatically generates real creativity for me. When I was in my journalism life, I would be staring at a blank screen and Joe would say, "What are you going to talk? What are you writing for your column?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'll let you know when it comes out of my fingers." And so
it was astounding when he was working for the Hollywood Reporter and he was doing this column. This is a true thing. He would sit down. What's the subject? I don't know. And then half an hour later it would be done. I don't know how you did that.
It just comes out. I mean, that's the only skill I have. Thank God I can do it, because it's the only way I can make a living. It was that or Carl's Jr. So so this at least made me a decent living.
There you go. That's awesome. And I 100% agree. The only way I ever get anything done is a deadline too. So sometimes you just have to have that threat of failure and consequence over your head just to get anything to go. 100%. I feel that in my bones, let me tell you. Speaking of feeling in bones, what is the reaction that you were hoping to get out of the audience? What do you want them to take with them when they walk out? Do you want them to be comforted, unsettled, a little bit of both?
When I first thought about this play, I thought my character was the hero and everyone would leave going, "Yes, we're going to join the resistance. We're going to fight harder." But as I worked and I realized my character's not necessarily the hero. She's kind of crazy. And but I would love it if it made people fight harder against what's going on in this country, against the fascism that that's what I would love. And I think that worked with some people. I got a lot of apologies, like, "Oh, I can't do as much as that character. I try, like that." But that's what I was hoping for. What were you hoping for?
Yeah, certainly not comfort. I didn't want comfort or relief. I wanted people to be inspired and potentially, wanting to join the resistance, but also fearful. This is not a comfortable time, and to pretend otherwise wouldn't be fair to the material, wouldn't be fair to
our lives,
or what we're all going through. So no one, I love a happy ending as much as the next guy, but we are not right now. We're in the middle of crisis and the death of, the slow death of democracy. And this is not a time for comfort. So we really felt like this is kind of a call to arms. I mean, that's certainly in the larger sense what we feel the play is.
Though there are a lot of jokes. Don't worry.
Right. The first 10 minutes is still,
We got joke. The guy can write jokes. It's like,
we want to lull them into a sense of complacency before whacking them over the head with an anvil.
Stop.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. I mean, that's the best way to get people hooked in is get them comfortable and then flip the table on them.
Right.
We completely did. Yep. 100%. Super important. Now, Ray, going from journalism where, the facts are the story, with facts still do matter in today's day and age, to playwriting where you're inventing the scenes and the interior life. What was the hardest habit to unlearn when you're writing for drama rather than writing for reporting?
That everything I'm writing doesn't have to be rooted in fact, and that I can make it up. Even though too much of journalism now is about opinion and too much making things up, and it's not based in fact. I'm old school that way, where I feel like something has to be factually based or you can't go with it. And, it was really freeing and has been freeing to be able to write a couple plays now and to be able to just have people say what you want them to say and be what you want them to be, instead of having the facts dictate the behavior and having the facts dictate the story. You create the story on stage rather than having it be, having to be
reporting on the truth.
Right. Pushed, and right. Exactly. So I guess what I'm saying is it's wonderful not to have to be tied to the truth, which I know how horrible that sounds, but yes, I mean, not to be tied to just regurgitating facts, although I love journalism, loved it and still do love it. But it's a whole other set of muscles that you get to exercise writing wise when you're a playwright.
There's a lot of creative liberties you get to take this way. Absolutely. Because it's inspired by the truth. I love literary license. It's my favorite kind of license. Absolutely. So I know that you mentioned that a lot of this was rooted in conversations that you two have had. Was there a particular moment or argument or conversation that really planted the seed for this, or was it just kind of like an aggregate over a period of time?
I don't want to speak for you, but I think.
Speak for me.
Every morning I get up and do these phone calls, and I call my representatives. There's an app called 5 Calls, and it really helps you. It gives you the script. I mean, I'm kind of on my own now, but in the beginning, and I started calling people who weren't my representatives and saying I lived in their districts. I would make up fake addresses, and I'd go on, thing to call up about issues. And I'd do it every morning, and Ray would be in another part of the house. I didn't know he was even listening. And I guess he was listening, because some of those conversations are in the play. And I think it was one of those mornings, right, that you were like,
Well, there's a Congress, we have a cabin in Lake Arrowhead. And so we have, partial residence in Lake Arrowhead, and the council member, the representative in Lake Arrowhead, a guy named Obernolte. And I overheard her constantly, Congressman Obernolte, how could you? What is wrong with you? And she's screaming and begging and crying in these 3-minute voicemails. And she got to know everybody in his office, and they're like, oh yeah, hi, Simon, what are you doing? He's like, oh yeah, hi Joe, how are you?
True.
Everyone in the office just got sick of her, and I'm just like, so one day I'm just like, oh my God, that's gold, and I just had to start scribbling, and then I realized, especially once I started revising The Informer, I'm like, I think I really need to just trail Jill for a couple of days and scribble notes, and that's going to be my dialogue.
There you go. I love that.
I would leave crying messages on their voicemail. It's true.
Well, so
I think it's important that they get a firsthand view into the effects of what they're doing. I think they need to have that, and some of them might be hard-hearted, but I think it's very easy to be detached from like the consequences of one's actions when you're in a seat of power. So you have to have that kind of thrown in your face. It's important, that's.
I don't know if he listened. I still get letters from him. He always answers me in a general sense. Dear Jill, nice to hear from you again. And then he'll give me his 2 or 3 paragraph spiel about.
Yes, I don't happen to agree with you that I should drop dead, but thank you for your view.
And some of it, I used to do these, I haven't done them in weeks, but I would be on ground patrol at a Home Depot with my whistle looking for ICE. It's a whole thing with a signal chat. That's a whole thing. You're looking for ICE people and they're going to come pick up. Anyway, I used to do that. And I met this guy, a bunch of day laborers there who I would come home from my 2-hour, thing at Home Depot with stories. Oh my God, I met this guy, Sergio. He told me the blah, 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 and all these stories. So those I haven't done it in weeks. I have a lot of guilt about that. I'm going to go next week. Anyway.
So she's actually the fact that she had to rehearse the show about this, about the thing that she's doing every day, filled her with guilt that she wasn't actually doing it.
Yeah, I had to stop for a while.
Well, we all fight back in our own ways, and I think it's important that sometimes you got to switch it up, and that, but good on you for doing both. I mean, that's incredible in and of itself. Now, I not to make this about myself, but just drawing a parallel here. In 2022, I actually did an original adaptation of Waiting for Lefty. We called it. It's been 86 years, and we're still waiting for Lefty. And
yes, instead we are.
We instead of setting it at a union meeting, I set it as somebody doom scrolling on their phone at night, and everything was set up to be that they were seeing in their scroll. And let me tell you, the number of rewrites that I had to do constantly, like I was in rehearsal, constantly rewriting, not because of inspiration that the actors were having, but because everything was changing so rapidly.
Exactly.
Like that. I was like, holy shit, this is no longer relevant whatsoever in its current form. Or now this is because I had a whole scene about Amazon drivers peeing in Gatorade bottles. I had another one about Stop Asian Hate. I had another one and this was like, as these things were unfolding, I'm trying to document them and get them dramatized and up on stage. And we were constantly rewriting. Now, did you find that the news cycle was having any effect on this as you guys were developing? Did that affect the script?
Yes, we did.
That was the first time when I did my 2017 play about Trump and Obama. Same thing, where everything would be changing daily, and I would be driving the actors crazy. Where it's like, can you just relearn this? I know we're 3 days before opening, but can you just can we just put this in? And this is still happening right now before Saturday.
We have a line in there about the Strait of Hormuz closing or opening, and so in the show it was about the Strait of Hormuz, but then the Strait opened, we were in a ceasefire. So then it didn't pertain anymore. So we put another line in, but now that it's all about the Strait of Hormuz again, I think we're going to put the Strait of Hormuz line back in for Saturday. We're just doing it right now.
We have a line in there about the stock market going up, and then it's like, oh God, but and so we wanted to change it to it because it went down the day before, and it'll just drive you insane to try to keep up with current events with the current regime where everything is chaos.
But Ray's pretty easy.
We had to draw a 2-week 2 weeks out. That was like, cool. This is now a period piece relevant as of this date, and this is where we're stopping. Yeah,
we were still having the same conversations. Oh, I'd like to read that. Is anyone going to do that?
Send it to you. Yeah, I can send it to you. Absolutely. I'd be honored. Yeah.
I'd love to.
I'll email it over. It needs, I'm actually, spoiler alert, Jen doesn't even know this yet, but I'm actually planning on doing another run of it, it's been 90 years and we're still waiting for Lefty for Fringe next year. So yeah.
Good. So cool.
Whole new set of scenes, same framing device, whole new set of scenes for it. And I think what I would like to do is make it a piece that is very adaptable and solicit. Originally, it wasn't all going to be written by me. I had actually solicited scenes from other writers, but the tonal shift and nobody else wanted to keep up with the stuff. And finally, the director was like, please, for the love of God, just we need one writer for this, So I was like, great, I'll do it, But I would love to have it where the framing device remains the same, but the scenes can be grab and go based on what the issues of the day are, and you can just customize it, So
yeah. Or,
yeah,
they could be, Ray is very, very good. He said, if you find something in the moment that you want to improvise, that's a better line or a more current line or a more, if you read something in the paper and you're thinking about it on stage, go ahead and say it. He's been really good at
Absolutely. Yeah. Although I don't want to put the pressure on them of learning something new 2 days before.
Oh God. Yeah, no, that's just, that just gets everybody in their head, and it really could compromise performance. Yeah.
Waiting for Lefty was sort of improvised to begin with. I mean, the history of that play, it's not like, it was a devise, they'd call it now a devise play, but it was, there was a group. So you're right in the world of it.
Yeah. Oh my God. We had such a hell of a time getting that thing up. It was a rush. But it was very stressful. It was very stressful, but we had a lot of fun with it, at least, I mean, for what the subject material was, we had a lot of fun with it. But we had a scene about, going no contact with relatives you didn't agree with, and COVID, and, like the unreasonable, COVID restrictions versus, my freedoms and all this, like we had all kinds of stuff. And man, did that evolve quickly. So much change so fast. It was quite the ride. But then again, this is not about my show. I will send you the script so you can check it out. But I really want to get this back on you guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I really want to read it.
Yeah, no, I will absolutely email it to you as soon as we're done here, if I can pick it up. Yeah, my pleasure. Now, Jill, you're married to the man who wrote this play about a long married couple, and you're playing the lead. What was the conversation like the first time he showed you the script? Was it like, were you always like destined to play the role? Was that?
No, because someone else was playing the first time he wrote it. It was someone else was playing it, and it was pretty horrifying in a way. Not horrifying because she was great, but I actually said those are things I actually say.
Right, I'm putting her words in another actress's mouth.
I had a hard time. I went to the first read through with this other actress, and oh my God, I wanted to talk so much, but I did try a little though, didn't I? I was a little intrusive, so I never went to another rehearsal because it was really hard.
It was too painful.
It was too.
But yes, she was just like, oh my God. I think she wasn't sure if she should be honored or offended that so much in the play was from her.
That's true. And I just didn't know he was listening. So it was kind of like, you've been listening to all my conversations? You were in another room. And I guess, with this little tape recorder.
The walls have ears.
I was just, I thought it would really ultimately help the piece to be sleeping with my leading lady, right?
Yeah, honey.
It worked out.
Never hurts, Yeah. Now, Ray, watching your own wife perform lines that you wrote about marriage and relationships, is that strange, or did it just kind of feel natural once the casting was in place?
It was actually thrilling.
Really?
Yeah. It was thrilling to have it, because I've long felt that, Jill is this diamond in the rough who has never been given her full due as a great actress. And I thought, wow, maybe this is what's been missing all along, is the fact that I should be writing for her. So it felt really good. As as a playwright, Greg, it's just,
sure.
There's nothing like the feeling of having people, act out and breathe life into your words on a stage. It's just, I only wish being a playwright paid better, because there was nothing I would rather do than that full time. I mean, that's, for so many years as a younger adult, I thought the perfect job would be to be Weird Al Yankovic, to just be able to do song parodies and make a great living. And now I think the ultimate guy to follow would be Lin-Manuel Miranda, if I could be him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You think anyone else feels like they'd like to be Lin-Manuel Miranda? I
can think of a few folks, maybe.
Just a few.
Just a few.
But it was great. It's been great. And just to be going through that whole process of evolution of the show and the writing and everything else with Jill has been really terrific.
And Lee, was a good drama, really good.
Lee Costello, we owe her a lot for how much she added to this, and the blocking is terrific, and it's really come to life on stage.
Hell yeah. I love that. Now, getting into like your origins, speaking of, being a writer and wanting to have that as like being a playwright as a career and such, Ray, you spent a huge chunk of your career on the other side of the notebook. You interviewed legends like Elizabeth Taylor, Martin Scorsese. Is there a lesson from being an interviewer that made you a better playwright?
Ooh, interesting question.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about if it made me a better playwright, but certainly that made me a better journalist as I went along. I mean, I when I started interviewing stars, you learn pretty early on that kissing their ass makes them wary, and you want to, you need to be respectful but not deferential. You want to make sure that you treat them like real people rather than icons, and that always helped. I mean, with people like Elizabeth Taylor and Chris Rock and George Burns. I mean, with most people, if you just talk to them like we're talking now, like real people, you get the best out of them. And if there's anything I was good at during interviews, it was just putting people at ease and helping them realize, I wasn't out to do any gotcha questions or anything else, and just they relaxed pretty immediately because we just had natural conversation. And I think taking that natural conversation, if there's anything that helped me as a playwright, it would be, I think learning the art of natural conversation in interviews helped me craft dialogue. There's a real correlation, I think, between interviewing and dialogue and how those play together. And, I always felt like I would be good at, I mean, I've done a screenplay too that didn't sell, but I always felt like I would be better at this even than I was at journalism. I'm not sure that that's true, but it's been enlightening to be able to write plays, and I want to do much more of it.
Hell yeah. So what was the first thing that you ever wrote, journalism or otherwise, that made you think, oh, I could really do this? Make a living at it.
It wasn't anything I specifically wrote journalistically that actually helped sell me on the idea of being a writer. It's going to sound crazy, but when I was in elementary school, I was I thought I was a dumb kid, and I had I got C's and D's on my report cards. I mean, which you have to try really hard in 4th and 5th grade to get C's and D's, even when you're trying. But I always got an A in written language. And I thought, that's interesting. And I had elementary school teachers saying, this is what you should do. This is what you're really good at. So I thought, well, maybe I should pursue that based on what I was when I was 9, 10 years old. And I never forgot, I studied when I was a big sports freak. And in the early 70s, I'm a teenager, I would be reading Sports Illustrated like it was the Bible. And I studied the letters to the editor in Sports Illustrated to try to copy the style and the ones that got published. And I wrote one and sent it to Sports Illustrated. And at age 15, I got it published in Sports Illustrated. And getting my letter as a teenager in there, not because I was a teenager, but, I was treated just like anyone else that wrote a letter to them. And I was like, wow, maybe I can do this. So it was literally a letter to Sports Illustrated I loved seeing my name in print, and I'm like, I want to copy this thrill for the rest of my life. And I'll
take another hit of that, please. Yeah,
I've been able to make a living doing it, and I didn't know that I wanted to get involved in entertainment journalism.
You started off as a sports writer, didn't you?
Yeah, I wanted to be a sports writer, but I came to realize that you never got to have your nights free. You always had to cover baseball and football and basketball games at night. And I liked having my nights free. So, I just kind of happened into becoming I was a TV critic for 25 years. And they asked me in 1984, when I worked for the LA Daily News, hey, our TV critic just quit. Do you want to be a TV critic? I'm like, what is a TV critic? What do you have to do? They're like, just watch TV and write stuff about it. And I'm like, wow, that sounds like the perfect job to me. it laid waste to what my mother always used to say: stop watching that stupid TV. You're never going to amount to anything doing that. And I'm like, look at me now, Mom. I'm watching TV and I'm getting paid for it.
Love that. I love that. All right. Well, we're getting towards the end of things here. I've got a lightning round here, though, for you. I got a few questions. I'm just going to throw it out there. Let's just get like the short, quick answers from each of you. One word to describe opening night.
One word to describe opening night. You mean after the show?
Resist.
Yeah.
I think the one word is resist.
Love that. Ray?
Let's see.
I would also like to say we were thrilled that all the jokes worked. Oh my God, we got laughs from the first second. I was so thrilled, but that's not one word. Go ahead.
Can I have the same word as her? Yes, resist. Resist is
Absolutely.
it. That's everything for us.
Hell yeah, I love that. And I can tell you, I can vouch for the laughs because we could hear them outside when I was walking by the box office. I could hear everybody laughing inside
You
the theater,
could?
all the way out in the parking lot. Yeah. So you guys got it. You nailed that. Playwright Ray or journalist Ray? Who's the better storyteller?
Before this, I would have said journalist Ray, but I think it's playwright Ray. I'm really getting my sea legs as a chronicler on stage, and so I'm going to say playwright Ray. Okay,
Jill, you got an opinion on this?
Oh, he's always been able to craft story. He'll, like his columns, they're a story. They have a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's breathtaking to me how he does that. You're amazing. And love letters. He's very good at love letters. Beginning, middle, and end. And I won't go into it, but very nice.
All right. I think we got the idea there. Very well done. Bravo. And love letters is a lost art, let me tell you. I think Jen would really appreciate it if I gave her one. So I might have to chin something up here very soon.
A love letter along with one rose, just one, not a whole bunch of flowers, one.
Yeah. Well, our 20th dating anniversary is coming up in November, so I'll have to come up with something special.
You know what? Our 20th dating anniversary is coming up
in September. September 6th.
Oh, wow. Congratulations, guys.
That's pretty funny. Wow.
That's fantastic.
Congratulations.
Yeah. How long you guys been married?
We got married on 10/10/10, so we're coming up on 16 years.
Nice. And we just celebrated 17 years just a couple of weeks ago. It was July 18th. So yeah.
So what's it like to be married so long?
Oh God, she hasn't killed me yet. I must be doing something right, Although at this point, I think she's declared me necessary for the business's survival, and she's from a family of entrepreneurs where failure is not an option. So at this point, I just have to hold on and stay relevant enough that she can't get rid of me. That's the trick.
The woman's a powerhouse. You married the right person.
Oh my God,
she's incredible. She is a dynamo, absolutely. She's. We complement each other really well in running this thing because we fill in the exact gaps that the other, like she has all the strengths that I don't, and vice versa. She can't run anything in the booth, but I'm completely lost in the box office. I know how to, design and program stuff. She has a way with people that I can't stand people most of the time. So like she's so great with character relations. She's so great with client relations that she has an infinite amount of patience with people, which I'd be like, the number of times where she'd be telling me about this person coming in, I'm like, these guys sound like trouble. I don't want their money. And she's like, we're taking their money and you're not going to talk to them. And I'm like, cool. Yeah. That's a little insight into how things work backstage here, So I'd be up the creek without a paddle without her. Absolutely. So, Ray, best interview you ever conducted off the top of your head? Just who's your number one?
I have to say it's probably Cindy Williams. Cindy Williams, who was on Laverne and Shirley.
Mm-hmm.
You may be too young to remember that show.
I was a TV baby, so I do remember Laverne and Shirley. Yeah, and the Fonz.
I did a book called My Greatest Day in Show Business, and it asked stars about the greatest day in show business that they ever had. And her story to me was when she was 21 and working as a cocktail waitress at the Whiskey A Go-Go.
Oh, yeah.
And one night, Jim Morrison walks in.
Mm-hmm.
And, this must have been, 67, 68. And he said, hey, honey, bring me a bottle of Jack Daniels. And she's like, oh, okay. And she goes to her manager, and the manager was like, she's like, oh, I need a bottle. And she's like, the manager's like, let me guess, is Morrison in the house tonight? She's like, yeah. Isn't it exciting? She's like, tell him he knows we don't give out bottles of alcohol. I need to pour him a drink like anyone else. She's like, okay. She goes back to Mr. Morrison, I'm sorry, we can't, I can pour whatever you want, but I can't bring you a bottle of Jack Daniels. He's like, wait, let me guess. Is Steve managing tonight? He's like, yeah. It's like, you tell that bastard that I want my bottle of Jack and I want it right goddamn now. And he knows I get it here. And she's like, okay. She goes back to Steve and he's like, you know what? Do I need to come out there and beat the fuck out of this guy? Tell him no. And she's like, back and forth. This goes 4 or 5 more times. And she's like, she's just in tears. She's just a puddle. She's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And Morrison then says, what's your name, honey? She's like, Cindy. And he's like, Cindy, we're just fucking with you. Just pour me a glass of Jack and we're fine. Steve is my best friend. We're good. Just, we thought maybe, we know it's like your first day and you needed the proper the proper hello. So it's the greatest interview I ever had was her getting punked by Jim Morrison.
And he's had some pretty good ones.
Yeah, that's a spectacular interview though. Holy shit, that's amazing.
It was so great. It was so great. And I can tell you my worst one too.
She was so sweet though, right? She was really
incredibly sweet and
charming lovely. And it's a longer,
My worst interview was with Chevy Chase. There wasn't even anybody close to what a prick he is.
I have to say, unfortunately, I mean, I loved Caddyshack as a kid and I loved, some of his other work, but I'm not surprised by that. Unfortunately, the reputation.
Oh my God, so full of himself and just one word answers. And, I was trying to help him promote his ill-fated late night talk show on Fox in the late 90s. And it was acting like he was doing me a favor, talking to me for 5 minutes, but
good Lord.
I digress.
All right. But that's a bonus lightning round question. I love that. All right. So Jill, you or Steve, who do you guys try to break each other in rehearsal? Who breaks first?
We did. I wish we had. No, we didn't break each other, but we did go off into long tangents and tell like crazy stories, especially Steve. He had this, his house burned down in the fire in Altadena, and he had a lot of acreage he was an urban farmer, and he lost his trees and his life and his house, and it was all, so he would tell us like stories about, we'd go off into tangents about his house in Altadena and the things he's interested in. He's kind of not left acting, but moved to this urban farming thing, and he's still acting, but not with the ambition, that we used to have when we were younger.
Sure.
So he's a really good storyteller. I wouldn't say we tried to crack each other up. I wouldn't say that, but we did have a lot of times where I thought, okay, let's get going back to rehearsal.
Yeah. So who would be? So he'd be the one to like kind of derail things and go off tangentially, or would you say that you were the one to initiate?
What do you think?
Yeah, I think
I think it was Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. He gets the credit for that.
Yeah, but they were good stories. He's a good storyteller. I was happy to hear him.
Except, and it's a shame he couldn't join us today because I really wanted to ask him. It mentions in his bio that he is into edible landscaping, and I really wanted to ask about that. So
that's what I mean. Urban farming. He had this urban farm, acres of all kinds of trees and things you could eat, and there was a farmer's market, and it was incredible, but it's all burned to the ground now. They're moving somewhere else. They're moving to Bellingham. Maybe they'll get some acreage there.
Yeah, I think they're going to end up doing okay. They're getting, I think, good money for their land.
Yeah, but it's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It kind of guided his life.
Yeah.
Wasn't the funny thing that, we didn't crack each other. I wish we had. We laugh sometimes, so it's fun. It was fun.
Yeah. Well, and that's the beauty of getting to play with new material and doing rewrites and stuff like that and exploring this stuff together, is that it's a process, and that you get.
When Ray would go off to rewrite, then we'd tell jokes. When he was in the other room, trying to rewrite, it would be like 10 minutes of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Ray, Odette's or someone more modern, who's the playwright that you'd want notes from on this?
Oh,
I think Odette's. Yeah. I think he would be the master who I would absolutely listen to. The truth though is I'm very malleable and good with anyone giving me notes as long as I respect them. Including my wife. You gave me some notes.
I gave you some.
Yeah, and
it's hard though to give your husband notes. It's a little touchy.
I'll tell you, I get it. Jen has no fucks to give about giving me notes. She'll just do it. So she's very fearless about that. I respect it, So
yeah, and
it doesn't always go over well, but she just puts it out there. So yeah.
I would take notes from her more about playwriting than about journalism, for instance.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still a novice playwright.
We're writing another play right now. Working on another play together.
It's actually a solo show.
Okay.
Oh, what's your next question? Was that about this?
It actually is one of the questions in the lightning round. I talk pretty sometimes. Next play, comedy or something heavier?
Well, it's going to be a solo show where Jill is portraying a character from situation comedy history named Gertrude Berg. Have you ever heard of her?
Not off the top of my head. I regretfully say that.
She was at one point the second most admired woman in America after Eleanor Roosevelt.
And no one knows who she is.
She had 20 years on radio, the #1 show for 20 years. Millions and millions of people listened to her. It was called The Rise of the Goldbergs. She wrote 15-minute shows every day of her life for 20 years. And then it was developed into a TV show. So she invented the concept of situation comedy. She came up with that idea, and she was the first showrunner.
Before I Love Lucy.
Before I Love Lucy. This was 1949,
okay.
And it was a huge hit. The Goldbergs. Maybe you're too young, but she would be. The family lived in a tenement in New York. Mm-hmm. They were immigrants, and she'd be leaning out of a window, and she'd say, "Yoo-hoo, Mrs. Bloom," and she'd call people up the shaft of the tenement so people would talk to each other. She was amazing. I mean, she wrote Broadway shows. She won the first Emmy for Best Actress ever in the first Emmy Awards was her. She won a Tony for a Broadway show she wrote. She was amazing.
Joe is not excited about her at all.
I'm so she got caught up in the HUAC trials, and there was how when the 50s came, everything became white and Christian and bland and stuff. So she, she kind of, but for 20 years, she's a fascinating. So there's a lot of comedy in it. We haven't quite written it yet, but
I think at next year's Fringe, hopefully maybe at the Hobgoblin, we'll be having this show.
Could be the show.
Well, I think it's gotten in over here yet. Yeah.
Because I think it's going to, one of the main plot points is this HUAC, the HUAC, not the trial itself, but getting caught up, what it was like for artists to get caught up.
Everybody backstabbing everybody else and, reporting on, snitching on people and, trying to save their own asses. And Hollywood was all upturned about it, and Broadway too.
And look at it now. People are willing to give up everything they've ever believed in to kiss this president's tush.
Yeah.
Everything they've ever said, they say one thing. Look at may he rest in peace, Lindsey Graham. He's a terrible guy. He's all the horrible things he said about the president before he became president. And then I never said those things. It's
his own vice president. His own vice president.
He compared him to Hitler.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, but I think there's a lot of opportunism. And when you can flatter somebody into doing whatever you want, you play the game of flattery, and then you just get to ride it, So.
But you would never do that.
No, me? No, please, no, not at all. So
anyway, did we interrupt the lightning round? Do we have more?
No, I got a couple more, but honestly, like whatever. There are no rules. That's the rule. So, all right, the one line in the play that you would fight hardest to keep if a director wanted it cut.
Okay, there's a line during a key climatic moment, about 2/3 of the way through the show, where the character of Daniel says, in charging Rebecca, basically the worst thing he could say to her is, you spend every waking moment auditioning to play a better version of yourself and never quite getting cast. And that's the line I would fight hardest to keep if the director wanted it cut.
God, if somebody said that to me, I'd just be devastated. Like that's just napalm. That's just
exactly
napalm on your soul, dude. That's
and she treats it the same way.
Yeah,
she treats it that way, where she almost just has a heart attack and dies on the spot.
That's like a war crime. That's so bad. Holy shit. That's savage. And you know what? Bravo, because that is savage and visceral. And did the audience have a particular reaction to that when that got dropped each night?
Well, it's in the middle of a fight. I think so. I think that does up the stakes of the fight.
I think there's a little gas.
We're kind of yelling at it, not yelling, but like arguing, and then that
really ratchets it up into another gear.
Yeah.
That's when shit goes from theoretical and we're arguing about things outside to intensely personal in one move.
Yes, I think our marriage is threatened now.
Can we come back from you saying, and is that what you really think of me? Oh my God. And is that who I really am? I mean,
gives you pause. Yeah.
But she has a good comeback too, which I will leave
I'm
there.
Very, very excited to see this.
I will leave the comeback. The comeback will hopefully be when people come to attend the play on Saturday.
Yeah. You guys got to come and check this out because it's done after this performance. It's not continuing with the tour. So you got to catch one performance only. Come on out.
That's it. One performance only for half an hour.
Last chance. All right. So I think you answered this one already with that last line, but fastest way to kill a dinner party, bring up blank.
Does it kill a dinner party to bring up Trump? Or does that
start everyone pissing and moaning?
Yeah. I mean, well, it brings down the mood, certainly. It brings down the joy. I would say the name and the word Trump is I'm sure it was like saying Hitler in Germany in 1948.
Yeah,
probably.
When everybody's just trying to forget about that unpleasantness. Yeah.
I feel like that name, once he's gone, it will be known as Hitlerian in America, and everyone will be anyone that ever supported him will be covered in shame and humiliation.
Oh, I only hope. We can only dream.
Yeah. I believe.
All right, and last one in the lightning round. Best fringe show you caught this year that wasn't your own.
Oh, we have a card here for it.
Oh,
we love this show. This was a real play. This was like, we should see this at the Taper. It was so good. It
was so just fantastic. That was at one of your theaters.
Yeah, that was at the Promenade Playhouse. Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you see it?
I was there mostly running crowd control the times that I was there, but I spent so much time playing fireman, running from venue to venue, and the number of shows I had to walk out of that I was trying to watch because I got a phone call saying I had to fix shit, So sadly, I never actually got to sit through the whole thing. And we wanted, spoiler alert, Allie, if you actually hear this, I apologize that this is how you hear about this, but we talked extensively internally about extending it or trying to find a way to extend it. But the cast and the staging is so big, and we don't have the Promenade Playhouse anymore. Our theaters are 50 seaters, and they're like a quarter of the size. So we were just like, shit, this is a great show, and it's getting great audiences. It's just too big for us now. So I really, really sincerely hope that a larger theater, 99 seats, or maybe even more, let's talk to East West Players. Let's talk to somebody. But I really hope somebody picks it up and gives
it should be at the taper.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want to help her get this. She's such a wonderful person.
We love her.
And the cast was so good. And it was a really interesting staging at your theater. We saw a bunch of stuff at the Promenade. Everything was different. We saw the one with the undersea with the puppets, which was completely
also really cool.
It was that was a really interesting, cool venue that could really change a lot. That was very exciting. And, Allie's very involved in the resistance movement, and we became friends with her. And Paper Flowers is so about something, it's really, and yet it's funny. And hello, if anyone's listening and you can have a chance to see it, that was our favorite show.
Amazing. Well, that's a great shout out. And absolutely, I really, really hope that Allie gets a chance to put it up somewhere. I don't have direct connections at East West anymore, but I do know a couple of folks in the mid-sized scene and friends with 99 seaters. So hopefully I can, mention it and see if there's possibility for it to be back up in the future. Because I would love to finally actually watch it, not just like peeking at it through the curtains as I'm dealing with shit in the lobby, but also just because the reactions that it got, people were walking out crying constantly from it, and it really moved people. It really hit them where they live. And I think that is, that's what art's all about, is reaching somebody emotionally and making them feel something and making them go on a journey and ultimately ending in catharsis, hopefully, and giving them an arc and a journey with the story as well. So I feel like that Paper Flowers really did that, so
that's our goal too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, what can we do with a half-hour show? Like, we can't do any more stuff.
It would need to be expanded out to an hour, to move it beyond where we are now.
Sure. But there might be one-act festivals. There might be, I think that there's different theater groups looking for stuff to put up. Like when they have a night of a bunch of shorter plays and things like that, this could be something that's a centerpiece already. I mean, there's got to be opportunities for it. I wouldn't cut it down any further probably, but expanding it is also an option. It sounds like you've got the opportunity to bring in some new characters and tell the story even further. And knowing the cliffhanger that it ends on, because again, I got to see that in rehearsal at least and figure out how to light it for the blogging. That could be a whole shit show in and of itself that you could throw in there too. So, but then again, there is something about having the big bad wolf at the door, not going to spoil it any further than that, but having the wolf at the door and leaving it on that note of menace that I think
we like that.
It's one of those, like, once the minute the serial killer in the slasher film, once they're illuminated and you actually see what they are, they kind of lose some of the menace,
Absolutely.
Like having that shadowy figure there, metaphorically speaking, and letting your imagination come up with it. Like an individual's imagination is so much worse than anything that we could come up with to put on a screen or on a stage to scare somebody.
No question.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
So, maybe not letting the wolf in, but it's an effective ending. So maybe we just expand the conversation out further that leads up to it. So, yeah. But I'm sorry.
No, I'm just going to say we would have done the other show, the other performances of this Freeway. But Steve is leaving and we'd have to re-rehearse it. And then, it's just too much. But it would be fun to do it again somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
Well, when you guys want to take it further, when you want to develop it further, let me know. If you need actors for reading, if you need a space for a reading, if you want to do a run of it at some point, please don't hesitate to reach out because we would we would love to collaborate with you guys again. It was great working with you at Fringe, and it would be a real pleasure to help continue the journey with this.
Thank you, Greg.
Same here, Greg.
Really appreciate that.
Truly our pleasure.
So are we good? Are we?
Yeah, I think honestly that's what I had all written up for this. Is there anything? Actually, I think the next best question is if there's anything that you wish I'd asked.
When is our planned Broadway run?
Oh, that's a great question.
And the truth is, we've had to put them off. Who has time for this crap? I mean, we just need to, we have lives. We had to let them. We had to let them down easy. That's all I got to say.
Absolutely. Awesome. Ray, Jill, thank you guys so much for your time today. This has been a lovely conversation. I've really, really enjoyed learning more about the show and you guys. And I'm super excited to see another distraction from the Epstein files this weekend at the LA Freeway Circuit on August 1st. Curtains at 2:30 p.m. at the Electric Lodge in Venice. We hope you will come and join us.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, guys. All right, that's it for this week on our stage. I hope you enjoyed our interview. And I hope you will join us this weekend at the Electric Lodge in Venice for the first stop of the 26-27 LA Freeway Circuit. Next week, Jen and I are headed to Scotland for the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, so it might be a minute or two before the next episode drops. But in the meantime, you can follow our adventures online on our social media at the StageCrafts. Coming up in September, it's the return of Mythic Fest, Hollywood's sci-fi fantasy performing arts festival, as well as the next stop on the Freeway Circuit at Theater 68 Art Complex in North Hollywood. Links to both events in the description below. Until then, have a great week, and we'll see you at the theater. Thanks, y'all.